A warm welcome and thank you for joining us for this week's first edition of Primetime News. I'm Shalva Wells. Leading our bulletin, as COVID-19 cases continue to increase rapidly with over 19,000 active cases in the country, stakeholders in the Omaheke region are joining forces to find solutions and assist the region's health sector.
The shelter was constructed as part of a program initiated through a joint partnership between the Ministry of Health and Social Services, World Health Organization and the European Union to accelerate the reduction of maternal and child mortality in the region, but it was handed over to the Gobabis municipality. Speaking during the handover ceremony, Omaheke Governor Pionganate expressed appreciation for the partnership between the two stakeholders, saying the COVID-19 pandemic is a war that the region and the country are fighting and it needs to be fought in unity. He went on to say, though he is not happy about the pandemic in the country and in his region, he is happy to see the unity among the people and stakeholders that has resulted from the outbreak. On her part, Gobabis Mayor Elvira Theron said handing over the shelter is only the first of steps taken towards saving the lives of Gobabis residents. She further explained that the decision made by the municipality to hand over the maternity shelter was made because they wanted to ease the load of the hospital since it's running out of space due to the increase in positive cases. Theron noted that the shelter had about 10 pregnant mothers, but they were relocated to another facility in order to convert the shelter into an isolation center. The shelter is an addition to the 8 equipped high care isolation unit at the Gobabis Hospital. Gobabis State Hospital Senior Medical Officer Dr. L.S. Kambongo thanked the municipality, saying the shelter will indeed reduce the crowding of patients at the hospital.
Former Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister Reverend Willem Konjore was on Saturday laid to rest at Kabes in the Karasburg district in the Karas region. Konjore died after a short illness in Windhoek about 2 weeks ago at the age of 75.
In a speech delivered on his behalf at the funeral over the weekend, President Hage Geingob described the late Konjore as a man that lived for God, the country and family, and to the very end carried himself with the dignity of a man of the cloth and the commitment of a true patriot. He utilized his societal structure and his innate leadership ability to mobilize the community to oppose the policies and programs of the colonial government. Comrade Konjore, both in person and through his actions, is a man deserving a great praise of commitment to the country. He lived a courageous yet dignified life, served with zeal and determination, and throughout his service to Namibia, exemplified the spirit of liberty, unity and justice, added the president. Konjore was a member of the Constituent Assembly from 1989 to 1990 and a member of the National Assembly from 1990 to 2010. He served as Deputy Speaker of this body from 2000 to 2005. Konjore is a former teacher. He was a former Minister of Environment and Tourism and a former Minister of Sports, Youth and National Service. Konjore leaves behind 5 children. Josephine Simeon, Nampa News.
The body of the 22-year-old student at the University of Namibia's Rundu campus, who went missing on 18 June 2021, was found in the Kavango River at the Kapako village in the Kavango East region on Friday.
Namibian Police Force Crime Investigations Coordinator for the Kavango East region, Bonifacius Kanyetu, told Nampa on Sunday that the body was found floating in the river at around 10 a.m. He has been identified as Mukube Ryan Frederick Kanyanga. Kanyetu said since June the 18th, the police have been investigating the alleged disappearance of the first-year student. He said the police opened a missing persons docket as it was alleged that on that day the deceased traveled with friends to Mamono village in the Mukwe constituency to attend a family member's memorial service. When they allegedly reached Shadipuera village, his friends asked him to buy beer at a local shebeen. The friends allegedly gave him 200 Namibian dollars for the beer and expected change from the money, which he allegedly did not have. In the process of the friends asking him for the remaining money, he apparently ran away and has not been seen until Friday when his body was found. Kanyetu said the friends that were with the deceased have not been brought in for questioning or arrested pending the results of the post-mortem. The deceased next of kin have been informed and police investigations into the matter continue.
The Ministry of Health and Social Services urges public members to visit authorized offices for issuing of travel permits in and out of Windhoek, Okahanya and Rehoboth.
The ministry, in a media statement Friday, said a large number of public members are observed flocking to the Namibian Police Force offices following the announcement of the implementation of amended regulations by the Ministry on 17th June 2021. Authorized officers for issuance of permits are NAMPO station commanders, high-ranked officers or designated officers by the NAMPO Inspector General, executive directors or regional directors of Ministry of Health and Social Services, Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Ministry of Trade and Industrialization, and Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. The ministry said, persons permitted entry, transit or exit into or out of restricted areas should adhere to the public health regulations. Hence, all regional health directors are urged to bring the content of the public notice to the attention of all relevant officers and counterparts in the respective regions to ease congestion at police stations countrywide and to avert further COVID-19 transmission.
Stand by for your top roundup. Now for all things business and economics. The city of Windhoek recently secured about 1.9 million Namibian dollars from the United Nations Development Programme to develop and boost agricultural food production of Farm Okukuna, the city's urban agricultural project.
Farm Okukuna is situated in the Koreachab Dam informal settlement area, where the project is aimed to address food insecurity and unemployment among the city's disadvantaged and vulnerable communities, including the youth, women, people with disabilities, and the homeless. The project has 1 permanent employee and 7 volunteers from the community. City of Windhoek's Corporate Communications, Marketing and Public Participation Manager, Harold Akwene, in a recent media statement said the Municipal Council accepted a non-refundable grant of 1.9 million Namibia dollars from UNDP for the development of Farm Okukuna. Once ministerial approval is obtained for it, the donation will be used to fund activities at the project for a period of 1 year. Meanwhile, Akwene further said City of Windhoek has also approved an agreement to lease land to Nampower for the construction of a new substation for Windhoek called the Commerce Intake Substation, to be situated on a portion of Farm 508 in the Havana informal settlement. In order for Nampower to take occupation of the identified site and start with the construction of the substation, they'll pay the city a lease amount of 1 Namibia dollars per month until all legalities around the transfer of the site are concluded, he said. The ownership of the site, he continues saying, will be eventually transferred to Nampower at no cost, noting that the construction of the substation is necessitated by Windhoek's electricity needs beyond 2024. Josephine Simeon, Nampa News.
Namibia has set up a technical committee that will work with its Angolan counterparts to construct a livestock fence along the Namibia-Angola border.
According to a statement on cabinet resolutions unveiled here on Friday, the committee was set up through diplomatic channels in May 2021, and hence the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation is expected to soon communicate its composition. It said cabinet has also instructed the Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security to implement the decisions taken at a bilateral meeting of the Minister of Interior of Angola and his Namibian counterpart Ilubango, held on the 21st to the 23rd of April 2021. The decisions include a directive that a joint technical committee with clear terms of reference be created as soon as possible to look into the issue at Olupali regarding Namibian farmers grazing in Angola, and that it should include veterinary officials, as the issue also relates to animal health. Cabinet has further instructed that the ministry provide feedback on the status of the draft protocol between Namibia and Angola on rules related to the legislation on migratory status of Angolan nationals residing in Namibia, it noted.
It's time for the Business and Economics Roundup. And now a look into the world of sports. We commence with COSAFA news. A 35-member Brave Warriors team left for Nelson Mandela Bay today, where they will camp in preparation for the 20th Council of Southern African Football Association's COSAFA tournament scheduled from 6 to 18 July.
Team manager Cyril Essex confirmed to Nampa on Monday that the team had left for South Africa and are scheduled to play a friendly match with Lesotho on Saturday. He said, "We will continue with our preparations in NMB. We will also play a friendly match with Lesotho on Saturday. The coach will then announce his final 25-member team to take part in the tournament after the game." Meanwhile, COSAFA has confirmed that the tournament will go ahead as planned, despite South African President Cyril Ramaphosa announcing on Sunday that the country would move to adjusted level 4 restrictions to combat a rise in COVID-19 infections that are largely contained in the Gauteng province. In a statement released on Monday, COSAFA said the updated government gazette states that professional sports events around the country may continue as long as appropriate precautions are put in place. The Brave Warriors were drawn in Group C, alongside 6-time COSAFA champions Zimbabwe, Confederation of African Football number 1 ranked nations Senegal and Mozambique.
South Africa will start the Rugby Championship with back-to-back home tests against Argentina after the British and Irish Lions tour wraps up, Rugby Australia boss Andy Marino said today.
The Springboks and Pumas will then head to Australia and quarantine for 2 weeks while the Wallabies and New Zealand kick off the tournament with matches on August the 21st and 28th, Marino told reporters in a video call. With South Africa and Argentina to play the All Blacks twice each in New Zealand after the Australia swing, the Pumas will be the only one of the 4 Southern Hemisphere powers without a home match in the competition. Marino said, "We do have an agreed structure, we're just finalizing the venues. Australia and New Zealand will warm up for the Rugby Championship with the first test of their annual Bledisloe Cup series on August the 7th, Marino added. To mitigate risk of COVID-19 infections, Marino said the French and Australian teams will take a charter flight from Brisbane to Melbourne for the second test on July the 13th and head back to Brisbane quickly for the final test on July the 17th.
Your sports roundup is next. That's all the news we had for you this evening. We thank you for tuning in. As always, give us a thumbs up and share. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Also click on the notifications bell to stay posted on the latest happenings locally and globally. Catch us tomorrow for your daily dose of primetime news. From myself, Shalva Wells, and the entire team behind the scenes, it's good night.